Hello everyone. I don't know, I need to turn that fan off because I think it's warm. Yes, I am back with the Parable of Stanley. What time is it? 14:20. Wait, no, 14 is 2 on it. For fuck's sake, brain. Put it to 21. Confirminate. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock to both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take the step seriously. Just leave the clock set to 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock. I appreciate that. That's how I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game, see the screen, just set the clock to your favourite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. If it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, let's get back to the video game now. So I don't know where this is going to drop me off, because I actually gave my pal who came a visit, hi Rory, a wee play, and it basically took him straight back to the bit I was in the middle of. So I've replayed the game and I've got myself to the bit I think. What was that? I don't remember.
Is the story of...
Oops. Yeah. So this is more or less where I left off.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
I really want to go up there, but... Banner. My ankles. Come on, game.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well,
Yes,
it got
yes,
me
yes.
thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Whoops. Zone, sweet zone.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Oops. What does it say? It's a BAFTA for the Stanley Parable. Alright, sure. The release of Stanley Parable. Hey, well. Goodbye. Money. Is this like a legit... Alright, okay. Thought there was going to be some kind of joke on it. Smile because it happened. So I think that was the original version of the game, because there was like that came out and then they made the Stanley Parable for 2013, and now this is it, like almost 10 years later. Creators surprisingly down to earth. Designer hat, wow. Yes, really tough choices. Left or right? Shut up, phone.
Je suis
Pardon? Excuse me?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com.
Big sushi.
James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Your number is 29. I don't know. It's obviously in reference to a ending, but I don't remember it.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Is that another French flag? I know, it's just the red and the blue door. Oh!
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
Boom,
Wait,
boom, boom,
hang on.
boom.
I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
I think the first one was still overwhelmingly positive.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of games to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I love the narrator, man. The guy they've got voice acting is amazing. Just that indignation, so good. There's about as much passion in this as there is that dude that narrates the intro cutscene to Elden Ring. The loathsome dung eater. Going to do something, man? Do it with all the energy and passion you can. Bonk.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more
Go on to press the button again, my guy.
Maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are or were or will be at the time of having made said choice.
Correct.
That's to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history.
Nope.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right
Hide
at
from
your
the narrator.
fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I
Actually,
should become better educated on
don't even know if you
exactly how
can.
Steam works.
I don't normally leave reviews.
That would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door, as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. And
Actually going to
I'm
let me?
step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
Let me talk, man. Aye, so when my pal was playing it, he just kept pressing the skip button. Things get dark, so I'm going to see what happens if you don't. That's why I was letting him ramble that time, but... How's this video already 15 minutes long? I do love this game. It just... time flies. Bonk. Bonk. I'm going to pause it. I don't think this is a very normal thing that I'm doing, but... meh. Anytime now. Anytime. Right, okay, I've officially waited a full 5 minutes. You must just have to keep pressing the button.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it, and I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine.
Damn you, Cookie Nine!
I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again.
Nope.
Stanley,
You've lost your talking privileges.
Or 2 weeks? Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us.
Nothing to say? Nope. Fine. Not dealing with that. Oh, the clock fell. It's 5-1.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It
Oh,
was
the
meant
clock's
to
broke,
speak
right.
to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said...
Give me the button. Give me the button. Give me the button. I want the button.
The end is never the end, 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 is never...
Plant! No! is leaking. Handle it. I'm impatient. Quite disappointed that the only way to get through this is to take the same ending, but oh well. It does lead to good stuff, so it's fine. I get to show you some. Chirpity chirp chirp. Night time. Daytime. Nope. It's now just screamy horror time. Good to know. Aha! I suppose if this is the dude's memory zone, you know, and he was sitting there himself for so long, there'd just be a lot of memories or nothing. Cloud kind of looks like a big deer. Oh, there we go. The end is never the end, is never the loading.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah!
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Let me at it, let me at it, let me at it, let me at it. Ooh, no, itch. Whoa.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Not necessarily.
So to get this ultra deluxe nonsense, I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
I think I clipped out of the elevator for a second there.
You see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Which one is it, the prequel or the sequel? I turned the brightness up this time round because I obviously had to delete my save to get back to this, because my pal played it. and I could have found a way to do it in-game, and it seems to make no difference in the dark areas. Chair.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
So, Rory pressed Happy 12th, and he said something along the lines of, when you make a choice, like, yeah, someone you knew when you wanted all along, and he actually just goes with this one, so I'm just going to press this button and see what the difference is.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which
just gives
one
you the
you
opposite.
actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No.
Yes,
Nope,
you should
I've
have
made
gone
my
with...
decision, we're moving on.
Must we? Must we? What's this way?
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well,
I actually
was
checked, it
developing
is legit there.
technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's a Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Will ye? Aye.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Let's pretend that one didn't happen. Oh yeah, jump a couple
You know
extra
what,
times.
Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
It's always good to exercise. No. I was hoping I'd give you some funny dialogue. Thoroughly clenched fists. Oh, yeah, this is weird. This is creepy as hell. Look at this shit.
Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Yeah, perfectly normal. It does feel kind of good to watch that happen.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Nope. There is something I need. The whole bucket. Bucket. Actually, do you know what? I might as well get this one out of the way. I thought I heard something.
epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please...
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away.
No!
I
My button!
start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Sneaky door? No. I swear they just like hiding doors to fuck with people like me. Like, I wonder what's behind
I
the
suppose
door.
I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature. A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and
I don't see no bucket, my guy.
your
Oh, there we
mind
go.
and your heart.
Give me the bucket.
Oh, as long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
Yes.
Come on.
Everybody needs a bucket.
Try.
See what I mean about this fucking
The
narrator, man. I love him.
even in the face of crushing despair, must already be.
You're not getting the bucket back.
body. And in
This is
fact,
my bucket.
can
I'm
I
keeping
say
it.
that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made
Well,
you
I
the
suppose you go from
slightest bit more attractive
Man
as a
lost in an
person.
office to man lost in an
The
office holding a
benefits
metal
of the
bucket.
seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
How did I get upstairs again? Oh, the epilogue door. Where was the epilogue door again? So I was wondering why that one looked different. There's fun to be had in the infinite hole for sure, but because I already know what it is, I'm going to skip it. You have to play the game yourself if you want to see infinite hole. That was a fruitless waste of time. Right, how did I get here again? This way, alright. I wonder if those people that are freaked out by those liminal space games are freaked out by the Stanley
All
Parable.
right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Yes, yes.
Ready to move on now?
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. I'm deliberately taking screenshots because it tells me no screenshots.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul.
Spoiler, you get yourself an ending if you
There's
spend time in the
definitely a
infinite
good
hole.
game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Whoop.
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go, version 2.
Test achievement.
Who am I kidding, Stanley?
I'm going to
This
stop
isn't a coherent
pressing
video game at all.
a
It's a lot
screenshot
of
button now
gags.
because it's
And I
clearly
do
not
very
doing
much
anything that I wanted
enjoy
to.
creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, with respect, with care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never loading. This is a pretty clever way to get that out of the way, innit? And now I believe it just starts off. Ooh, itchy beard.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
But I don't think that changes, so I'm just going to let it. And now we're back to the actual game.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I've got the hiccup burps and it hurts.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Oh. What's this bollarded off? No new content?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. of bucket was wrong, Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
So this should give me the confusion ending.
Good
Let's see how it
Stanley.
changes.
I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Okay.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
This is legit what I was wanting to see if it would do this.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Want
Don't
music
you
back.
remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Bonk.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very
My
proud
bucket.
to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
It blends me into chum if I
Go
jump
ahead
face
now,
first into it.
Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Well, fuck it. First time I've encountered it, let's see. Pachow.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't
No.
get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Nope. My bucket. I'm gonna keep the bucket.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Wonderful. La 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 la. Oh, we're back.
All of of his co-workers were gone.
No bucket this
What
time,
could
though.
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket.
Perhaps Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Back, man.
Not this bucket that they've never seen before. The line goes somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it
This is where I hear the
goes
music
next?
again.
Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the...
Aww.
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Bitch, I'm trying.
I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset.
I'm trying.
Hurry and
The genuine way I done this, wanted to see if I could.
classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it for the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Nah. Can't be done. Oh well. I'll do it for this one. That was a good giggle. We'll see what other nonsense we can get up to with
All of
Bucket.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Anyway, good luck. Take it easy.